and I decided to not choose despair. So I thought, what can I do to bring meaning to others and myself? How can I use what I know how to do? So it started that four of us who now still play in the alley band, Ingrid and Roberta and Zart and I, would get together for lunch, maybe once a month here. And this was pre-pandemic, and we'd play chamber music. And that was just kind of a regular thing. And they were still in the trenches working, and I was free of work, but they could see that I was enjoying music without making a living doing it. And then the pandemic hit, and they were sort of forced into a instant retirement. They were right where I was. And actually Zart called me one day and she said, I don't know what, I'd like to play, I don't know what to do. And I said, well, I don't remember exactly how it came up, but we decided to get together and play outside on Palm Sunday. I'm a church musician, so that made sense. And I remember calling Ingrid across the alley and John Cunningham, who plays the bagpipes, Laura, who's across the alley, and Roberta Downey, the cellist. So we just decided to start to have, we got together and played once. And I played my accordion because I didn't have my keyboard outside and I didn't have a piano, and I even played my violin, which I hadn't played for years. And we were a little hesitant because we knew we had to stay far apart. We wanted to follow all the rules. This was, I think it was April 8th, 2020. We said, well, let's get together for Easter. So then we moved from the alley into the garden, and we played Jesus Christ is Risen Today, and Here Comes Peter Cottontail. And played, and it got a little bit bigger. We invited people. It stayed small because we couldn't have too many people. But the level of the music got a little more sophisticated as I moved my keyboard out, and we could play. We'd maybe play Somewhere Over the Rainbow, but then we'd play a Mendelssohn trio. So there was a big variety of things that we wanted to do.
And I am a violinist with the Pacific Northwest Ballet Orchestra. Valerie's parents introduced my parents to each other many years ago. And of course, when she started the alley band, I was probably the first person she asked to be in it. We're also neighbors. I live across the alley from her. They've had, the alley band performances have had quite a big impact on the neighborhood. For example, I've met some neighbors that I never knew before that live quite close to me. And it's brought the neighborhood together in a big way, I think. I see many of the same people at each concert. During COVID, it was just a godsend, really. We were all so isolated from each other, and it was something that we could do together. We did it almost every Sunday last year, and people just loved it, and it seemed to attract more people the more we did performances.
My name is Betty Agent, and I play the viola. I am the assistant principal violist in the Pacific Northwest Ballet Orchestra. I am the principal violist of the Auburn Symphony Orchestra. I have taught at Pacific Lutheran University. Well, judging from the attendance today, it's had a huge impact. There were more people there today than I've seen in the times that I've played before, and everyone, the audience was very enthusiastic. They clapped, they stood up, they danced. They were totally involved. And I thought, wow, this is just like a block party. It's like this big gathering of a big party, and they've come here just to hear some music and just to share something with everybody else that they haven't been able to do for 15 months, and who's counting?
My name is Stacy Mastrian. I'm a soprano. I've sung at Teatro La Fenice in Venice, and the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C., Carnegie Hall in New York, and all over Canada, Mexico, Berlin, and Italy. And I got involved with this group. This year has been incredibly difficult and isolating as a musician who's used to collaborating all of the time with other people, breathing with them and shaping phrases together, and it's been really difficult not to have that. So the fact that there was this chance was really fabulous. To the members of the orchestra, thank you so much for the opportunity to collaborate. Hearing the beautiful melodies soaring was just, it reminded me why my soul is alive, honestly. So thank you.
My name is Bernice Morwise, and I have lived in this house since 1957, which is 64 years. The Alley Band means a lot to me. Ingrid came, I listened to the Alley Band in my backyard, and one day Ingrid called me and said that they would like to serenade me. I have never been serenaded in my life, and I love music. Oh, music is the most wonderful thing there is. And so I said, be my guest. And so they came here, and there were Val and Ingrid and two other people, and Val played the accordion. And so they liked it and thought it was fun to be out here more where other people could hear them and see them. So then they ended up, the sun started to come out of Seattle, so they ended up going by the Round. Well, before we know it, as I'm sitting out here working in my yard, they're all asking me, when is the Alley Cats on? When are the Alley Cats on? And so when it was just a few people, it ended up with so many people listening to this beautiful music that Val has put together. What an angel she has been to this neighborhood. And it's brought the families together, and it's brought people together, and it's been wonderful for our neighborhood. I have seen this neighborhood in different changes, but this is the best that's ever happened.
My name is John Cunningham. I have a collection of bagpipes, which include, of course, the Highland pipes, or the big loud bagpipes. I think the big impact was the audience were very happy to hear live music. Many of them had been concert goers or heard music at church, live music, and suddenly there was none of that until we started playing in the alley band on the front porch, and drew a very appreciative crowd. I'm not a professional musician by any chance, but it was very gratifying to the impact that our kind of simple gifts, no pun intended, had on the strangers and the passersby and the friends, whoever showed up. Well, one thing that struck me is the little kids who come to the concerts with their moms and dads. And as soon as they hear the music, they start dancing and twirling. And even the littlest guys who can barely walk, they somehow hear the music and they want to dance. And that kind of joy that the kids have, this kind of unfiltered joy, is really gratifying to see and experience.
My name is Carrie Wallace, and I am a Ballardite. I was born and raised in Ballard in the Loyal Heights area. It was kind of like a lifesaver because I've been a big patron of the arts, so I would generally go to a lot of plays and the ballet. And then all of a sudden I was cut off from everything. And so I think having this in the community that we could all participate was just such a wonderful thing. My friend Cheryl and I looked forward to coming. We would often come and sit together. And Cheryl unfortunately passed away in April, so it's kind of been bittersweet to come to these concerts now without her. She just really loved it. There was one week where the governor had pulled back and they were not able to perform that week, and it was really kind of a bummer because we were very disappointed, and it just felt like, we had lost something special. But then they came back the next week. One of the things we wanted to do to show our appreciation, we thought, what can we do? It was that they brought so much to us. So Cheryl and I put together a stone and had it engraved.
When the pandemic happened, as we all know, a lot of art forms stopped, and it was her really joy of life. It was really hard for my mom, and she loved to see beauty expressed in many ways, seeing it through artists and musicians and actors. And to this day, I still remember the first alley band concert, and that's not because I was here, because she called me absolutely glowing after this first concert. And she sounded like herself again. And in that moment, I realized that music and art all give us a chance to celebrate life with each other, no matter what we believe or what ideas we live by. And on that day, and many more to follow, I felt this sweet gathering of musicians that she talked about from all different areas, bringing back hope, bringing back love and humanity that we all might have lost touch with during the pandemic. And so I'm just so grateful to be honoring my mother here, because she absolutely loved the alley band. And this music gave a smile to my mother. It placed hope and kindness in her heart that this world would not lose what is so precious to all of us, which is our uniqueness, our joy that we are all humans, and the ability to celebrate life together. So I just wanted to thank you for honoring my mother, because we actually grew up on the street just down right here, and it just means so much to us. So.
My name is Roberta Downey. I play the cello in the Seattle Symphony and the Seattle Opera, and also in Valerie's wonderful alley band. I was in a rehearsal when the governor shut down performances way a year ago last March. And it was heartbreaking. It was heartbreaking for us as performers, and I'm sure for the audience members who love to come to hear live music. And so when we started up with Alley Band, to be able to play for people in person and get feedback and all that goes in with playing as a performing artist was very rewarding to see that and have it be appreciated and know that it was appreciated. Val's themes were always fun. For 4th of July, Independence Day, Father's Day, Mother's Day, Sintintamai. Nice to see the threads that would go through the music she would put together for us to perform.
I am Joycelyn Evie, and I play bassoon in the Alley Band. And this is my mother, who can introduce herself.
I'm Zart Dumborian Evie, and I play flute and piccolo in the Seattle Symphony and also in the Alley Band. We all kind of got started with this was early in the pandemic. I was walking and I called Val just to chat and see how she was doing, and we're both kind of and we said we missed playing music together. We had just recently started doing some trio sonatas just for fun in Val's house, and Val was like, well, we could play, why don't we play, we have Easter coming up, let's do something for Easter. It was just really fun to watch. From week to week, our audience would grow and they would become more involved. The few weeks that we had to shut down because of restrictions, I think people were really disappointed and were really happy to see us come back. I think it just gave them some joy in their life and something to look forward to. And speaking as a musician, and for I think a lot of the musicians, the opportunity to actually play music with someone else, with colleagues and friends, in a time when we couldn't be doing that was incredibly meaningful to me, and I think to all of the people out there. That's why we get people coming back again and again and asking to be a part of Alley Band.
What is most special about Alley Band, when we started in March, it was a time of so much uncertainty and fear, and I think doing this every Sunday was really a touchstone for lots of people and a sense of consistency and connection that everyone was really looking for. I know there were many times, even when we couldn't see the audience or couldn't see other musicians, that I would cry while playing because it was just such a beautiful experience and so much, I think, what I needed and I think what a lot of us needed. And it was amazing that it continued to be that throughout the summer and into the fall last year, and now this year we can do it with a little more freedom, and that's a really exciting thing to be a part of. So it's been a really fun emotional evolution. You can always tell when it's a Val arrangement. The arrangements that she makes are so beautiful and intricate and special, and it's so much fun to play her music, and having her arrangements is a huge part of what makes this such an incredible experience.
I'm Denise Lum. I play with the Pacific Northwest Ballet. I've been playing for about 22 years. And aside from playing in the ballet, I also do some extra work with the symphony and the opera, and I also do occasional work for contractors who make movies and other video recordings and things like that. I was really happy last summer when Val called me up. I hadn't heard from her for a long time, and she told me about the Alley Band. And she was wondering if I'd like to play the next Sunday. She gave me a rundown of what it was like, and of course, my initial response is, I'd love to. I haven't played for a long time and I'm a little bit nervous. And then we rehearsed and we got out there and there was a crowd and it was really great to see people who were excited to hear us play.
When you think of like an intersection, right, it's a place that people go through. They don't often stop. They're on the way to someplace else. And that intersection became a gathering place and people loved coming together. They looked forward to it. I think there was a longing for that type of connection and just the spirit of helping, right? I mean, that's what I think got elicited in us as Val realized that, she needed help carrying the keyboard and setting up electricity, which, takes all of 5 minutes. But the joy of just being able to even participate at that level was just wonderful. So I think there's a sense of hope with music, right? Mm-hmm. It's a sense of community. There's pride in it. There's so many psychological factors that I think people experience with a shared musical experience like that. Healing, right? Yeah. That would be the other factor. I mean, we all were struggling. We were lonely. We were separated from people that we love, and to be able to really have that healing experience together, and in some ways to build lasting friendships with people that we only knew casually. I can't imagine that the neighborhood will ever be quite the same again.